I'm Phaedra.
And I'm Sophie.
And this is My Best View.
Phaedra, what was your best view this week?
My best view this week was something that came in the mail. Something came that was supposed to come earlier when you were here, and it took its sweet time, so it is here when you are not here. Oh, for the pod listeners, we are doing this remote again. Sophie is back in Germany.
And by the way, thank God. It's so much easier on Zoom. I hate to say it, but...
We're home, baby. But a gift came for the pod area, which is a canvas print that says soak, relax, unwind, a la the deep cut reference to what Ani had in her living room above her couch, which is not where you'd expect it.
Yes, the classic sign you have above your couch. I love it.
And that's a deep cut for real fans and visual watchers.
I love it so much. That's perfect. I don't even know where you got that, but I love it.
I'm so happy it's here.
I love that.
Thank you. And Sophie, what was your best view this week?
I actually, again, brought a visual aid for mine, so I'm sorry to all the audio listeners.
It's show and tell today.
It is show and tell because it's my favorite time of the year in terms of the flower availability in Germany. Yes, like early spring, I feel like there's really good ones. Also later spring, there's going to be peonies. But right now, I'm loving the tulip selection. I love fancy tulips.
Gorgeous.
And I was able to get some fancy tulips at Aldi for like €5 for a whole bunch. And on top of that, I'm living in a house full of my late grandmother-in-law's many belongings. There's a vase, like I know many belongings. We all get to pick some things out. And so this is a vase that we picked out. And the combo of vase and flowers has had me like on a high all day long.
Oh, I have an idea of what it might be. Oh, wow.
Isn't this spectacular?
Amazing.
It's like, and so like these are parrot tulips. These are peony tulips. Like this is a peony tulip. I just love all the fancy kinds, you know?
Gorgeous. Wow. Sophie, that's spectacular.
Anyway, I just am really happy looking at these gorgeous flowers, and that's all. I'm a simple lady. They just elevate your day. And I also like encourage people who are getting into flowers, like go beyond just like roses. You know what I mean? Like there's such a world of even affordable flowers that are just like fun and whimsical. So I'm thrilled about this.
That's really amazing. Gorgeous. I'm so excited to get into this because behind the scenes tea, guys, me and Sophie unfortunately couldn't record last week because Sophie came down with an awful cold, probably given to her by one of my family members when she was here. And we won't name names.
We're not pointing fingers.
But so unfortunately we couldn't record. Luckily we had done 2 when she was here, so we were covered for the pod. But it's been so long since we did this. Like, it's so fun to get back into it.
I know. It's also funny for me because I wanted to rewatch the episode, but I didn't get a chance. So I watched it on the plane back from New York, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like curious if my notes will be helpful.
You know, I put it on this morning. The moment I woke up, I put it on. And then I realized that I hadn't even finished taking notes 2 weeks ago. And I was like, well, okay.
Well, then I'm glad you got.
That really sums up my, like, I'm not even going to say work ethic. It's just like my brain chemistry. It's like you could give me unlimited amount of time and I won't get it done until 30 minutes before. And I don't like that about myself, but it's just true. We start with Stevi and Mahdi this episode, and we pick back up during the weird fight the night before the wedding about Stevi's sexuality. Mahdi says that this is the last time he'll ask and he wants an answer, which I think he said every single time they've had this conversation. So I'm like, okay, well, let's see. And they've had this conversation, I believe this is the 3rd or 4th time, where explicitly he said, are you bisexual? And she says an answer, which so far has been no, right? So I'm not understanding what makes this any different, but okay, sure.
Well, I will say he framed it as this time he said he was going to ask one more time now before the wedding, night before the wedding, quote, so I have time to think about it.
I need more time. I need time to think. Everyone needs more time. They're getting the Ani disease. Okay, interesting. Okay, Stevie's response to this was, I will say, at least different from what we've seen before, but it was genuinely bizarre and confusing to me.
Agreed.
Stevie says, quote, these conversations are not normal conversations to me, and that she didn't realize that this was bothering him as much as it is when he asked about it previously, until she learned that he had mentioned the paintings to Saeed. So what are we talking about?
This whole thing was so confusing. It's like, this is just this shit where it's like, you can feel the producers being like, okay, wedding's tomorrow. Let's wrap up this plot line.
Literally. And also her saying she didn't realize it was bothering him so much when it's the only thing he's been bringing up consistently throughout the whole time he's been here.
1,000 times.
And she continues and says that she sees it as her just painting someone, and he's making it into something that it's totally not. So she was defensive and shut off to even answering the question when he brought it up previously, which she says is dumb because she could have just given an answer and he could have just moved on. What are we talking about? She literally gave him an answer every time he's asked before. She said no. Like, she has been evasive, but...
Yeah, maybe she's admitting to the fact that her answers were not reassuring, because it was always like, you want me to say no? Okay, fine. No, move on.
I guess I see that, but it's just so funny the way that she said it. She's like, yeah, I should have just given you an answer. And I'm like, you did.
You did answer. I know.
I agree that you weren't great at handling that conversation, and we said that. But, like, this is just not even true, so it's confusing to me. Anyway, she continues and says that she's sorry for not doing that, not giving an answer so that he could just move on. And she says that the answer is no, she's not bisexual. And she says that she allowed him to worry about it much longer than he should have.
I didn't get this. I didn't really...
Because they've had this conversation before.
This whole thing, this was the core of her argument, which I just don't understand. And she said she was so defensive because it's not true. And like, I feel like that's just not how it works usually. Like,
no,
I'm confused. I don't know. I'm not an expert on how people respond in these situations, but I would think if someone asks you a question and your answer is no, but you take issue with the question, I feel like you could say that. I feel like you could say, I'm not, but you raising this is a red flag for me. The fact that you care is a red flag for me. Like, she could have said it like that, and I would have totally understood where she was coming from. But her being like, why would you even say that? Like, it's such an odd way to respond to something that you're being honest about.
Yes.
And then her being like, I was defensive because
it's not true.
It wasn't true. Like, I just...
Maybe it's that, and I'm truly just speculating here. Like, I don't know Stevi, but like, maybe she's homophobic and like doesn't even want to be considered gay in any way.
Maybe the question was like so outrageously offensive to her that she was like, I can't believe you would even accuse me of that.
One time in high school, someone asked me if I was Christian. And I said, what the hell?
Why would you accuse me of that?
No, literally, I said, ew, why would you think that? And they said, well, you just kind of look Christian, which that's the craziest read I've ever gotten. I was like, and a straight guy said that to me too. I was like, what the fuck? Meanest thing someone has ever said to me. And I was offended by the question at the time, but I wasn't like, I'm not going to answer that. I can't believe you would even ask. I was just like, no, why would you ask me? That's weird. You know?
That's the thing I'm confused about. Is like, I understand the, why would you ask me that? But I mean, maybe being accused of being bi is like so horrific that just the sheer, that's the only thing I could think of. So then I'm like, oh, great. You're also homophobe. Wonderful.
So basically, because Stevi says that she's sorry for not giving him a clear answer before, which is not true, but okay, she says that. Mahdi cries and says that it made him feel so lonely because Stevi is the only person he knows here. I really don't get this emotional reaction, but I was like, okay.
I don't get the links between all these things.
And then I get way even more confused with this couple because now we cut to an interview with Stevi, like obviously at a later date, recalling this, and she cries in the interview. And the producer asks why she's crying, and she says it's because she feels bad for not seeing Mahdi's perspective up until that point. And she didn't know how he was feeling and only saw how she was feeling because it hurt. I don't know what she meant exactly here, but...
Fuck you, producers. Hate when you tie things up with a bow just in time.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, oh, now that I see his perspective, 6 hours before the wedding, it's all good.
Right. They're definitely pushing that narrative that like, oh, that was just one simple conversation they had to have, and then everything that's weird about their relationship is fixed. No.
She says to him, like very unequivocally, she says, I don't like girls or men. I just like you. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but if you're saying or men, you're kind of negating the relevance of the girls part because you're saying everyone else I'm attracted to is irrelevant because I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he says, even in the past?
Mind you, she has like children. She's like procreated.
I know. She goes,
I just don't like, something is fishy here.
I know.
And I don't fundamentally care, but I'm like, producers, to your point, producers, stop trying to wrap it up with a bow. Like, clearly these people are, I don't know, there's just like unresolved stuff here. And I think a lot of the reason it can't be resolved is they're simply uncompatible, but neither of them will acknowledge it to the other. And it's just a weird relationship. I don't know what to say other than that. Like, none of it makes sense to me. I don't think that I agree with either of them on like stuff, like when it comes to like not being homophobic or like even how to like interact with other human beings, just like in a casual setting, platonically, let alone romantically. I mean, the two of them are the stiffest people with each other and honestly even around friends. Like, they are so weird to me. There's no word other than they're just weird. So then in part 2 of their section, we wake up the next morning with them. They're in bed. It's their wedding day. And Mahdi says that he's happy that he got the answers that he wanted and he won't doubt them. So
wonderful.
I'm not sure how her saying, no, I'm not bisexual for the 3rd time is an answer you wanted when you got it twice before. And it seems like you're just waiting for her to say she was. But fine. Okay. And Stevi asks him if this is a forever thing. And he says yes.
Not them talking about, is this a forever thing on the day of their wedding?
And Stevi says that she just doesn't want him to leave her. And he says he won't. And she asks if he's sure. And he says yes. And it's just like so insecure. I don't know. Like, she is super, super immature when it comes to her romantic relationships. I mean, it looks like a high school relationship, like talking to each other like this.
I know. I just say there's no reason to be having this conversation on your wedding day, because if you're in a relationship that makes you feel so insecure that you don't know if they're into you on your wedding day, you shouldn't be with that person. And if it's just your personal thing that you're like so insecure, then that's really annoying. And you just need to not say it because it's like disrespectful to your partner. Like, either they made you feel that way and then you shouldn't marry them, or you're making yourself feel that way and then like go to therapy and figure it out. But like, there's no reason on your wedding day to be like, do you really like me?
Like, what more could they be proving to you that they do really like you? So, oh my God, another plotline I don't give a shit about. Mahdi's friend Saeed texts him that he's here. So Mahdi leaves the hotel room to go meet up with him. And I'm like, oh, great. Morning of. We don't even get like a respite.
Pot will be stirred.
Yes. And Stevi starts getting ready. And she says, I believe to the camera, that her wedding dress doesn't fit exactly right. So she doesn't think she'll feel happy in the dress. I'm like, okay. Yeah, this was a completely unavoidable thing to be happening on your wedding day, huh?
Stevi's complete lack of preparation is pissing me off because, like, regardless of your budget, you can do better than she has done.
It's genuinely insane.
I don't understand.
Yes.
Side note, I just remembered a side of TikTok I'm on. This pisses me off so much. Just talking about it is making me, like, feel, like, hot in my chest. This woman who was like trying to save money on a wedding dress. So instead of like going to an expensive bridal store, she kept buying dresses online.
Okay.
But then like none of them were fitting right. So then she bought another dress, and then she, that didn't quite fit. So then in total, she bought 15 dresses. By the way, all like custom dresses she couldn't return. So
what?
She's hoping to get her money. Yeah. So she's hoping to get her money back by like reselling them.
That's not how it works.
And I'm like, you spent so many thousands of dollars at this point. Like, you could have literally gone to like a nice bridal store.
Yeah.
And bought one normal dress.
That's insane.
And I feel like that lady is in the same school of wedding planning as Stevi.
For sure.
Where it's like not even about the money, but it's like, why is your lack of like preparation and forethought? Like, why is your brain doing that?
Yeah. And at her big age, she's like almost 40. You know what I mean? Like, she's not like a...
I know.
It's stupid. And and she's also saying that, like, Mahdi looks really good in his suit, so she's unhappy that she doesn't fit in her dress. So it's not even that, like, she's okay with being a little sloppy and, like, oh, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, because if she was that way, great. Like, weddings don't have to look one way. But it's like she's expressing, I don't want to look ugly. Yeah. She really does care.
And then her friend Claire brought shoes. And she says, I hope the shoes fit.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean you hope the shoes fit?
Did you bring a backup pair? Was your backup like sneakers? Like, what is going on? I can't. So, oh yeah, no, sorry. She says that she hasn't tried them on, and if they don't fit, she'll go barefoot. She stresses me out. I can't.
How is that the second best option?
She's like something, it's not type A for sure. It's not even type B. She's type like
Q. It's like just a different letter.
For question mark. Type what the fuck is going on here? Anyway, Claire, her friend, asks where Mahdi is. And Stevi says with Saeed downstairs, and Stevi in an interview says that she's over the interrogations from Saeed in New Orleans, and today isn't the day for that. So you know today is the day for that.
We certainly will be seeing more of this.
You shall.
Wait, also, I just thought of something.
What?
Oh my God. Thank God no one listens to our podcast, because what if Stevi has like some sort of like executive dysfunction, and then like the ADHD community comes at me and is like, do you know how hard it is to buy a wedding dress and shoes?
Well, you know what? We've both done it, so we actually do know how hard it is. And if you aren't able to do it, you ask your friend to give you some help. I don't know. There
are ways to get around this.
Now we cut to Mahdi in like the lobby or whatever with Saeed, and he tells Saeed that he asked Stevi. Sorry, there's a lot of, instead of he, I'll just say everyone's name. So Mahdi tells Saeed that Mahdi asked Stevi if she's bisexual and says that she said no. Saeed points out that she said that before, so, quote, you don't have an answer. You're just accepting her as she is. And I'm like, I agree with the first part that, yeah, what does differentiate this from the other conversations you've had? But then it's so funny to be like, you're just accepting her as she is. Like, that's
How dare
bad.
you? I know.
I'm like, what does that mean? And Mahdi says that he doesn't have a reason to be skeptical of her answer anymore. And Saeed says that he understands Mahdi's fear of facing the reality and truth. Does Mahdi actually feel good about getting married? That's all Saeed cares about. And I'm like, okay, that's tea. Like, I mean, yeah, someone does need to be asking Mahdi that. And Mahdi says that he's really happy and he means it.
He says, quote, I'm really happy, Saeed, and I mean that. But he says it in an Eeyore voice.
Oh, you're right.
He's like, I'm really happy, Saeed, and I mean that. And you're like, oh, okay.
It's so crazy that this is his wedding day. I'm just like getting flashbacks to my wedding day, and I'm like, yeah, that was not the vibe. So Saeed wishes them the best. And Mahdi says, I hope so. I'm like, okay, well, not really displaying the confidence that you say you are. And Saeed says that he feels personally responsible toward Mahdi, especially because Mahdi's family isn't here. And I'm like, Saeed, I do know that you are feeling that way. I'm seeing that from you. I don't know if anyone is asking you to feel that way.
Was this responsibility bestowed upon you, or are you just kind of taking it?
I'd say actually they look like they're giving you feedback that they want you to be taking a back seat. They kind of regret that you're here. I get the feeling. And It's kind of like Megan vibes of being like, well, if no one else is going to push to get these answers, then I'm going to. And it's like, no one wants you to.
You really can't care more than the people involved.
Yes. And that is such a good lesson in life. Like, truly, you just can't. In an interview, Mahdi says that Saeed means well, but he's been worried about him since the day he arrived. And like, what if because of Saeed, he loses Stevi's trust? And Saeed tells him in the moment that he'll be right back. And he goes upstairs to Stevi's room and asks her if they can have a conversation before the wedding. And Stevi is like, what the fuck? And me too. And I don't care.
Stevi probably in her like completely wrong size dress and shoes.
Yeah. Looking like a goofball. So now we have Shekinah and Sarper, which are way more interesting than the previous couple. And we pick back up on their fight now. Like, a lot of this episode was just picking up on fights because their producers refused to just show one fight in one full episode. It has to be between two.
Truly 0 seconds transpired since the last episode, which is interesting because in previous episodes it'd be like a month that transpired between episodes. So
ridiculous. We're at the cafe where Sarper was hiding from Shekinah before she tracked him down with the tracker that she put on him, which actually we did not properly say that was freaky as fuck.
We did say it's stalker behavior.
We did, but like I would really like to emphasize that's really not cool.
It's like actually stalker behavior. Yeah.
I think it's a criminal offense.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really hate that she did that. And she kind of is upset and states that they're doing this the day before the wedding and they're supposed to be going to the hotel now, like mad that they're having a fight. And fair enough, I will say. And she asks Sarper what he needs. Is it time? Everyone's needing time. And there's no more time, she says. So, but Sarper asks how she found him. And she's like, why? Me when I know I'm wrong.
That's to pull a Stevi. I can't believe you'd ask that.
Yeah, that kind of question is not normal to me. And she tells him that she put an AirTag on his keys so that they can find the keys if they get lost. And I'm like, yes. And Sarper very, very easily sees through that lie. I will say they know each other very well. And he says, you gave this to me day one, meaning the keys. You've been tracking me for 90 days. And she kind of insists that she didn't look to track his location. It was really just there so that if the keys get lost, they can find them. And he's like not buying it at all. And basically Sarper is just like, you just want to know my location to see if I'm cheating on you. Again, we don't get this explained at all, but he does just say that. So the cheating theme is continued but not explained. And Sarper in an interview says the level of mistrust is unbelievable. I'm sure that she was looking at it every day, and says that it doesn't make any sense for her to marry a guy that she doesn't trust. And that's the thing about Sarper is like, he's crazy and toxic too, but he feels like, what's the word? Like, I don't want to call him wise, but I don't know. I feel like he does understand basic things about relationships more than Shekinah in a way.
I agree with that.
Yeah. He doesn't walk the walk always, but like, I feel like objectively he can look at the situation and be like, this isn't healthy, but then he'll continue to be unhealthy. It's just interesting. And Shekinah says that he needs to get over, quote, this whole location thing, quote, and it's normal for couples to share their locations. So just doubling down on it. And Sarper agrees it can be normal, but without the other knowing is not normal. Again, T.
Consent.
Yeah, he's like, actually, it's so important for consent to be present. And Shekinah says he's just trying to distract her from the real issue, which is him leaving the house. What do you think about that?
I mean, they always have these like toxic fights where it's like deflection and whatever. Mm-hmm. I think it's a huge red flag. I would literally not marry someone who was, if I found out the day before the wedding they were tracking me, I would not marry them.
For sure.
I actually think it's a huge big deal. I mean, it's slightly better in a sense that she's the one tracking him in terms of like gender roles, I guess, but like,
and like statistics about the likelihood of like a woman killing her husband versus
right,
the other way
like
around.
I think physically, you know, she's less of an advantage, but like I don't excuse abuse by women or abusive behavior by women ever. Absolutely. And it is like really a big deal. And this is one thing on the show that sometimes upsets me is like TLC will do anything for a view, and sometimes there's stuff where I'm like, I get why you think it's entertaining, but like, can you guys like clarify, like you don't actually condone this?
Yeah, it's really treated with such levity. Like even in the last episode, the producer being like, Shekinah, why is the AirTag really there? And I'm like, no, this is actually fucked up. Like it's not like a silly little thing. It's messed up. And then the way that Shekinah is basically, she doesn't literally say it in these terms, but she's basically saying, well, you forced me to do it because you wouldn't just share your location with me. It's like, no, you did not have to do that.
I know. And it's like, again, it's behavior that if it was a man doing it, it would be so much more clear that it's not okay. Like if a man says, well, I only put a tracker in your car because you wouldn't share your location, we'd be like, holy shit, that's so bad. Very clearly. And I feel like it's also not okay, even if the genders are reversed. So.
And also it's, I mean, we already know this, but like we can concretely prove that she's lying about this being about the keys because as far as we know, she doesn't have an AirTag on her keys, you know? So it's like, well,
true.
If that was the case, that's how it would be. Maybe I'm wrong and they just left it out, but I doubt it. And then, you know, if this was a safety issue, like I could understand her if she genuinely meant it of like, oh, you're new in a foreign country and like I just get nervous that like what if something happened to you? I would just like in that situation, I'd love to be able to find you. But it's always about like the cheating. So
I know.
Like, well, okay, so this is a control thing and a lack of trust. I don't think we need to explain more why it sucks. But anyway, so Shekinah does say that basically, let's get back to the real issue, which is you leaving the house. And Sarper says that he's trying to get over their old struggles by thinking it through. I think he means like he's going over in his mind basically the state of their relationship and like I'm assuming the toxicity that we've even seen in the short time they've been together in the US and trying to figure out like basically if he actually does want to go through the marriage. And Sarper has his issues, but again, I'm like, yeah, that's what you should be doing. Like, I don't love that it's happening the day before the wedding. That's probably a sign that it shouldn't go through. But like, yeah, you should be taking this very seriously. I get his thought process. And then he says, but he learns then today, right now, he's learning of a new issue, like the tracking. So it's like, how can he even puzzle through or like feel good about it when there's always something new? Makes sense. And Shekinah says, it's not a big deal unless you make it one. We can't have any issues right before a wedding. And I just thought, oh my God, she's crazy. Like actually crazy. Because like she's like, again, I don't know if it's technically an example of this, but it feels adjacent to gaslighting. It's like, well, actually, you're the one making an issue because you're creating an issue right before the wedding day. And it's like, no, Shekinah, you were tracking him. That's the issue. He just found out about it right now.
I know. No, I'm with you.
Yeah. And Sarper says, Shekinah, you've never been married. And he tells her that when he was married, he would almost have a panic attack whenever he would get close to home, aka I guess where his wife was. Mm-hmm. And Shekinah asks if he's feeling that same way now. And he says, Shekinah, you are completely different and I love you so much. You're the first woman that I loved. And he says that he just needs time.
Okay, Ani.
Shekinah says that if he's not ready, she needs to know now. And Sarper says it's not about her. And she says that he's marrying her, so clearly it is about her. Okay. It's also like, I don't know, Sarper's argument here is not really like clear, right? Because at first he's saying there's like toxicity in our relationship and I'm trying to think through basically if we are ready for marriage and like it's worth it and everything, basically is what he was saying. Not in those terms, but essentially. And then he's now saying, oh, it's just that I'm afraid of marriage. And he's like, it's not about you. And I'm like, no, but it sounds like it is about her. Like it's about your relationship together. So I think he's kind of discombobulated, or I don't know, maybe afraid to tell her like that that's the truth. It's a little confusing what he's actually puzzling through here. And we cut to an interview with Shekinah, and she says that she wishes that Sarper was completely confident and has no doubts. And she says that Sarper always tells her that he's completely sure about her, but today is making her realize that that doesn't necessarily mean that he's completely ready for marriage. And Shekinah tells Sarper in the moment that if a prenup is the thing that's causing the stress, they don't have to do it. They can always do a post-nup later. But if they don't want to get married, he will have to go back to Turkey. And she asks if that's what he wants. And after a kind of lengthy pause, he says no. And she yells at him for taking so long to say no.
I loved that. Yeah.
And it was kind of like nice to get confirmation that that pause was real. Because, you know, in reality TV, often like the producers cut things to make it look like there's pause when there wasn't one. But he actually was like, no, yeah, like I want to get married.
I know.
Shekinah says that she thinks that he should stay in the U.S. because she just really doesn't want to do long distance anymore. And then Sarper says, yeah, we have to do it, I think, meaning getting married. And I'm like, wow, what a vote of confidence.
Great feeling one day before getting married.
Yeah. And then Shekinah is kind of feeling the same way, but she's like kind of yelling at him. And she's like, I want you to want to. I don't want you to say I have to. And Sarper says he wants to be with Shekinah, and that's the important thing.
I loved this one Sarper quote where he's like talking about, I guess, his worries with getting married in general in an interview. And he says, when you give your finger to a woman, she wants your hand. When you give your hand, she wants your arm. And you completely lose all body.
That was a crazy quote. And I think that's a Sarper original.
I love that.
It was such an interesting quote because I specifically was thinking, what is he referring to specifically in their relationship? Like, what is Shekinah taking from him?
I think this is just like that, like, ball and chain core kind of talk.
Boomer humor, yeah.
It's just like, oh, my last wife made me do all this stuff.
They're always taking stuff from you. And it's like, yeah, the statistics don't really show that about heterosexual marriages. If anything, the men only benefit. But sure, we're taking stuff from you, sure. But it's so funny because I'm like, what is she taking from him? Like his ability to live in Turkey? That's the only thing I could think of.
His freedom, quote unquote, whatever that means.
I mean,
don't know.
I do recognize that they have a toxic relationship from both sides. But that's not exactly the same as like, she's taking stuff from me. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway. In the moment they hug, and Sarper says that he loves Shekinah, but just asks her to not hide anything from him. Again, similar vibe of like with the last couple of, oh, okay, we're wrapping it up. There's a bow put on it.
Now.
Like, oh, we fixed it. We won't hide anything from each other anymore. Now we cut to the next part of their section, and they're in the car together. And Sarper is driving, I noticed.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. He has his driver's license now. I'm like, show? Why was this not mentioned at all? That actually seems like a pretty significant plot point. Like, if you're the foreign partner coming to the U.S., especially LA, where it's like, you know, you have to have a car to get anywhere. I feel that getting your driver's license, getting the ability to go around on your own, be autonomous, is actually a huge, like, milestone and, like, would
I agree
shift your relationship vibe and everything. Just such a missed opportunity by the show. The production is so sloppy this season. And Sarper in an interview says that he has cold feet, but it isn't a choice of getting married. It's a choice of keeping Shekinah in his life or not. Mm-hmm. And they arrive at a hotel, and Sarper gives his keys to the valet person and says, quote, "We are tracking you. We are following you."
I loved that.
Loved it. And Shekinah is like, babe, he's not going to know what that means. And Sarper's like, I know. Just like freaking this valet person out so bad. And again, guys, it's because there's the tracking device on the keys. And so, okay, this explained the thing that we were really confused about in the last episode about they were talking about going to the wedding venue, and we're like, you said you're having a bedding, not a wedding, where you're getting married in bed. And it is revealed that they're getting married at a hotel in like a luxury hotel room in that bed. I was like, oh, okay.
So there will be better lighting.
Yes, so there will be better lighting. And Shekinah in an interview says that she wasn't able to tour the room because it was always occupied. And she wants it to be elegant, sexy, classy, unique, and beautiful. I just love all of those adjectives in a row.
I know.
And guys, it's not, according to her, unfortunately.
Well, according to me also.
Okay, I would like to hear from you, home decor police, because I'll just say they enter the room and Shekinah immediately hates it. And she says she hates how worn out the room looks and it's making her really sad. And I'd love you to give more detail if I don't share everything, but they like cut to like the wood floors that are super scuffed up. And like, honestly, I'm going to defer to you. What else was wrong with the room?
So I don't even mind as much the wear and tear. I mean, obviously you would like for a room you're doing let's call it what it is, a photo shoot. For a room you're doing a photo shoot in, you would like for there to be, a bit more of a polished look.
Sure.
But I just thought the whole thing looked really cheap and tacky. Like, I thought the furniture didn't look harmonious or high-end at all. Like, I just thought the furnishings, it looked I'd be surprised if this was a chain hotel, because there's something that happens at certain like boutique hotels where like they don't have certain design standards and they just sort of like putting whatever in the rooms. And it kind of felt like that. Like, it didn't feel like an interior designer was involved. Like, if it was maybe like someone's cousin. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It was kind of just whatever brands they could get a deal with to furnish the hotel. They just put them in the same room.
It was just random stuff in a room. It didn't feel like, there's just a feeling, it's hard to put into words, but when you walk into a nice hotel room and there's like, the crisp white linens and there's just this feeling of like some level of cohesion across the design concept, whatever that might look like. This just felt like no design principles were involved to me. When I saw it, I was like, oh, jump scare.
Yeah. And like the color palette in my memories is kind of just like basic white and like light blue.
And like maybe purple accents.
Yeah, it wasn't really like balanced or an interesting design at all. Like, dude, honestly, if anything, when she was talking about wanting it to be elegant, sexy, classy, unique, and beautiful, I was like, oh my God, are they doing it at the Madonna Inn? Because I thought that's like such an iconic place to get married. It's obviously not their vibe, and it's not everyone's vibe, but like that's like an iconic hotel to get married at. It's like, oh my God, if it's your vibe, that's like where you would want to get married. Like, it's definitely noticeable and like recognizable and everything.
Also, I'm really not sure about their financial situation, so I don't want to like assume, but if you're skipping the wedding and your main cost is going to be one night at a hotel, I feel like you could go up a bit more with the budget.
It wasn't even the Four Seasons or something.
No, like, because a hotel that might be out of your budget for a regular hotel room could still be very cheap as a wedding venue.
Yes.
Even if you go for a hotel room that's like $1,000, that's a lot for a hotel room, but not very much for a wedding venue.
Yes. No, I'm
You know
hearing
what I mean? So
totally.
I'm just confused. Also, I'd love to find which hotel this is, but I'm surprised they didn't like go for somewhere nicer.
Basically, as I said, they've entered the room. She kind of is immediately pissed. And more like sad. She hates how the room looks and says it's making her really sad. And Sarper says, of course. Like, they just are so not supportive of each other. And they sit down in the suite and Sarper tries to reassure her. And she kind of cries and says that she just doesn't like it. In an interview, she says her dreams are being destroyed by the reality of the room. And like, I feel for her. Like, I mean, that would be awful. You know, the night before your wedding, coming into the venue and being like, looks like shit. She kind of keeps crying and Sarper hugs her and says not everything can be perfect and they're together and that's what matters. And she kind of is just still really upset and says it just looks so different from online. She really hates it. And Sarper says that she makes everything miserable for herself, so don't do it now. And quote, let's have fun. It's a big day for us. Like, he's trying to be supportive. Mm-hmm. She kind of says at this point she'd rather get married at the courthouse. And Sarper in an interview says she didn't cry when he was having cold feet, but she cries over the hotel room. What the fuck, he says, which is pretty funny. And then Sarper says during the moment, okay, go cry on your own. And then he like leaves the room. I'm like, what the hell? These people cannot handle like being supportive to each other for longer than like 5 minutes at a time. It's so interesting.
I know.
And then Shekinah, in the next section, she calls Courtney, who it says is her wedding planner and cousin. And she's like crying on the phone to her and complains that she just really hates the room because the chandelier isn't in the right spot in particular. It seems that she really like had this image that like, okay, like they'd have the bed in front of like this big window and there would be like a chandelier over it. But when she gets to the room or the suite that the hotel is, it's like the bedroom and the bed obviously are separate from where the chandelier is. The chandelier is out in like kind of like the living room area. So it's just like not at all what she wanted. And it really does seem like she was kind of catfished by this hotel.
It looked bad. And seeing the pictures online, granted, I couldn't find like the pictures of the exact room because the pictures online now are kind of generic. But like I see the vision in the pictures and the execution is definitely different.
But Sarper hugs Shekinah and tells her not to cry because it makes him sad. And he reassures her that everything will be great in the end. And there's a knock at the door and it's Courtney, the wedding planner. And Courtney comes in and is like, we'll figure this out. And she points out that they could possibly just move the bed into the living room under the chandelier. And it seems like the hotel porters come up and they move the bed for them and under the chandelier. And Shekinah is a lot happier with how it looks. So that's great. And it ends, you know, Courtney leaves and Shekinah is a lot happier. And then,
by the way, I do have to add, it's not a chandelier, it's 3 sort of staggered chandeliers.
Oh.
Just to contribute to sort of the vibe of what we're, you know, looking at.
I mean, they were all ugly. I thought there was just one because I was like, ooh.
No, it was like multiple chandeliers.
I see.
Just, you know.
Got it. So now that everyone has left except for Shekinah and Sarper, they get ready to do their nighttime routine before the wedding. And they're doing everything together. And so Shekinah is like, she puts a clay mask on Sarper and she's doing some kind of like skincare herself, like with this like vibrating like machine for under her dark circles. And then we got to a little interview with Sarper and he says that Shekinah is like Inspector Gadget with all her devices. And she really is, because now she makes Sarper lie down in the bed and she puts him in some kind of leg device.
I've only ever seen this at like a gym, like it's like for like leg recovery or something.
Is that what it was? I don't know.
I think. Well, but I'm confused why in this context you would do it, because I understood it as like a thing like athletes use like after a workout to like make sure their like lactic acid is good or whatever. But it's essentially like a blood pressure cuff, but for your whole legs.
Oh,
it's kind of the vibe.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like these bags that he puts his legs into and she zips them up and then like turns it on. And he asks, are you executing me? And in an interview, he says that he feels like an Egyptian mummy. And he says, quote, she's planning to disable my legs to avoid me run away tomorrow. I will be in the bed. We are already making bedding because I cannot move. And I'm like...
And then I was like, ugh, I love him again.
No, literally. He's so funny. Love him. He's the only one who can make, like, ball and chain jokes. He's the only one who can get away with it. Shekinah turns on the device, and then she also puts, like, a red light eye mask on him, it looks. And he says, wow, being beautiful is difficult. And Shekinah, in an interview, says that doing this routine together reminds her of why they're together in the first place. And that when they're good, they get along so well. And it's just so funny to me. Like, again, the way the producers are, like, putting a bow on it. Like, see, they love each other. They get along. Nothing's bad here. Because they do eye masks together.
But also, I'm just realizing the fact that, like, she brought all that stuff with her to the hotel.
Yeah.
The whole pants.
I know. Crazy. That's what was in their bags. I mean, they had, like, these huge bags. I'm like, don't you guys live in LA? Why do you need that?
Well,
and then we end the section with Shekinah in an interview saying that she hopes Sarper will show up to the ceremony tomorrow. And I'm like, what do you mean show up? You're sleeping there. It's just like, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going to have this like fake tension the day of that, like, will he
went to
show
get
up?
A coffee, and then it's like, will he come back from having a coffee? I know.
Literally.
So we are with a throuple. We're still in Guadalajara. And it's Matt and Minnie's last day in Mexico.
Fucking finally.
I know.
Finally, release me.
They're at some like tequila distillery and they're running through the agave fields and there's this like big swing for photo ops and they're like all on the swing touching each other. And Matt says that he's just so happy and honored that they met Ani's family. Minnie says she's excited to celebrate with tequila. And Minnie drinks a lot, side note.
Yeah, she really likes to drink.
And then They decide to do like a sub photo shoot of just the women kissing on the swing. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
And they're walking through the agave farm, and there's like a little church at the farm for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnie's like, what's this? Is it a surprise wedding or what?
Shut up, Minnie. She really pisses me off.
You know it's not a surprise wedding. You're still married to Matt.
Yeah, like, what are you even talking about?
And then Matt says he figures he'll walk them down the aisle to get them used to it. And I just like, first of all, that's not how it works. Like, he's not going to be walking them down the aisle.
Ew, like he's their dad or something. Yuck.
But also, I'm just thinking about the logistics of the group wedding, and it scares me so much. Like, I know it's not going to happen, but like, would they both?
Wait, Sophie, I didn't even consider that, like, even though legally they can only marry one, I didn't consider that they do a 3-way wedding.
They're definitely all going to be there. They're definitely going to do like a promise ceremony or something for like.
Oh, God. I want to see it, though. I do want to see it.
I know. And then there is an interview with Minnie and Matt where Minnie says she's so excited to go home and start the divorce process so they can get the K-1 visa.
Great feeling to, like, can't wait to get started on your divorce from your husband.
I know. And this bothered me a lot. The production, I know I'm always on the producers, but like the storylines this season kind of annoy me because like I think the storylines are very weak this season, and they'll be like randomly extended and then randomly wrapped up, and like, yes. I don't really get it. And so it really bothers me because at this point in the second to last episode, they're introducing a new conflict, the big question, which is, will Ani marry Matt or Minnie?
You know what, though? Honestly, I believe this conflict more than some other ones they've introduced.
I do too, but I'm just annoyed with the pacing of like the big question for the first 17 or 16 episodes was, what will the family say?
Which ended up being so flop. Like, they didn't give a shit.
So nothing. And then now we're like bringing up something new as if it's like the core conflict.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know. I was just annoyed by the pacing of it. And they start talking about like how they would want to get married. Minnie asks Ani if she wants to get married in a church. And I'm like, the church is not going to be welcoming your 3-way marriage. And Ani says she doesn't want to get married in Mexico. Mm-hmm. And then Minnie says they should have 3 weddings, a Tunisian, American, and Mexican wedding. I mean, we know they're not even going to have a one, but the thought of them doing like a group walking down the aisle 3 times is really scary.
Yes.
And then they do a reveal of pictures from Matt and Minnie's first, like, their wedding.
Interesting lore
which
drop.
Was like a shitty Las Vegas wedding.
Yeah. And they looked a mess. And they
it
said
it's
it's
really bad.
And Minnie said as much. Like, she's like, oh, yeah, she just wore whatever white dress she had in her closet. And I was like, whoa, what was the rush here? Pregnancy?
I don't know, but it's interesting. And then, like, Matt at this point is, like, leading Minnie and Ani through, like, what feels like a, like, Scrum retrospective meeting. He's, like, it's, like, making them reflect on stuff. And he's like, okay, so what are going to be the second steps in this relation?
Did he say relation?
He said, quote, second steps in this relation.
He's so stupid. I'm sorry. Like, he's the one who's theoretically a native English speaker.
I know. And then Minnie says they still need to figure out the legality of this process. And I'm like,
yeah.
So yes, you definitely do. And we maybe could have even started with that. It's
so funny to not even know if it's possible legally and still be going through all this shit together. What is this?
I know. And so then at this point, Minnie asks Ani who she is going to pick. But before, the reveal, Minnie gives a little speech where she promises she will be happy no matter who Ani picks, which we know is a lie.
In my notes, I said I could not believe her less.
But she does say, like, to Ani, she would like to be picked.
You know what, though? I will say that line. Did you notice it was off face?
No, I didn't. But I would believe. This whole thing is so sloppy. I mean, anybody could say anything at any time and I would believe it.
You can see her saying to Ani, like, I promise I won't take it personally. I won't hold it against you. And then we cut to Ani and Matt's faces and she says, but I want you to pick me.
Interesting. I didn't catch that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she said it, but I did think it was an interesting time to cut away.
So then Ani says something in an interview which is insane. Quote, it's been my lifelong dream to marry a female and be my bisexual true self. End quote.
Dude, we thought Bisexual women are quite a theme this season. It's really interesting. And I don't, I'm not sure where to begin here, but my initial reaction is, okay, so divorce your husband because it sounds like you don't want to be with him.
Well, that.
In the sense of like, if you are bisexual and you're married to one gender, I'll just say a man because that's the situation. And you're married to a man and you feel that you are lacking something in your life, that not only do you want to like sexually experience your bisexuality, meaning a relationship with a woman, which she has done consensually within her relationship with Matt. So like, great, cool. You are welcome to do that if you're all comfortable with that. But in addition to that, she wants to experience marriage with a woman. I think
why are you
that
married
means
to a man?
That means that you are not actually fully satisfied in your relationship with Matt. I do believe that. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It sounds like you got married too young before you had experienced everything. / maybe just Matt as an individual, regardless of gender, is not really fulfilling everything that you're looking for in a marriage. And that's okay. But like, I don't like this like pretending to even herself that that's not what's going on. That it's like, oh no, she wants both.
There were two things that came out for me here. Number one is I was like, this is what Mahdi is scared of.
Yeah.
This is his perception of what it is to be bisexual.
Yeah.
That you're like, yeah, I'm with a man, but it's my lifelong dream to marry a woman.
Right, right.
But also, I feel like every person I've ever heard discussing bisexuality wants it to be made clear that bisexuality is not about needing to simultaneously be with a man and a woman. It's just that your pool of potential candidates is larger.
Yes. Yeah, good point. I think I even phrased it a little bit strangely. Yeah.
But I mean, in the same way that maybe you're like, I'm attracted to guys with brown hair and blonde hair. That doesn't mean if you're with a brown-haired guy, you're like, I gotta marry a blonde, too.
Yeah. But if for you personally, you're like, I just, it's a requirement that in my life I experienced both of those things. Okay, so you get married after that.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is I've heard people say like, I want, to your point, like, oh, I want to experience being with both. Okay.
Totally makes sense.
I want to experience being married to both. Feels like a lot.
That feels like you're getting married too quick to people.
Also, it's like, what is it about marriage that's different for you than just sort of being with someone? Because...
Right. It's really strange. Like, Ani has this weird Minnie has this weird relationship with Ani. From what I'm seeing in the text so far, it seems to me that Ani sees herself in a Minnie, because she said as much early on in the season. I remember her saying something like, oh, we love her, blah, blah, that's why we want to marry her. And also, we want her and her kids to have a better life in America. And she talked about how, like, she knows what it's like to come from, like, a conservative background and, like, not have as much opportunity. She said something like that. So very clearly, like, she has empathy for Ani because she sees herself in Ani and wants to, slightly in a white savior way, like, save Ani, essentially, is the way she said it, from the life that she's currently leading in Mexico. And, like, in addition to that, I think that she's not fully satisfied in her relationship with Matt.
No, I agree.
And I think she might be one of these people who is bisexual and wanted to experience true romantic and sexual love with both men and women, and it seems didn't do that before she got married. And it's like, okay, so you shouldn't have gotten married, and I think it sounds like you just want to be in a relationship with Ani. It doesn't really seem like I don't know. You can't have both, basically. Like, ideally, yes, but as far as I've seen in the world, I've never seen a three-way relationship like this, especially with these type of people who are so emotionally immature. I've never seen it work out. So I'm like, well, it sounds like you're going to have to pick.
This is the thing I fundamentally struggle with specifically the concept of like an exclusive throuple, which to me is totally different from just being open in general. Like, if you just want to like have a relationship where you're married to one person but you have sex with other people, I understand. I mean, I wouldn't want that for myself, but I can completely follow the logic.
Totally.
But what I really struggle with is this idea that like being with one person leaves some gap, and I need to be with a second person to fill the gap. I'm kind of I guess I'm confused by like what stops it from then there's another gap and you need a third person, or do you know what I mean? Like, what is it about two people specifically where you're like, one wasn't enough, but two's just right? I don't understand. And like the way she speaks about it, I think she just wants to be like sexually open and like free. or married to just a woman. I don't know. But like, I'm confused with like following her need to be married to one man and one woman. Like,
Right. It's the marriage aspect that's confusing. And I think that's a good thing to emphasize. Yes. Why does this need that level?
might I add, she and Ani barely speak the same language.
Yeah, they don't have that connection.
You cannot tell me there's like a deep emotional connection because we've seen them interact and like they cannot speak beyond like a surface level, like small talk.
And they don't get along well.
No, they're always fighting. And it's not like she's like, I'm getting this like deep emotional connection from Ani. So I don't get it. I'll probably never get it. It's fine. But
It's
her
fun to
being
watch.
like, well, as a bisexual, I need to be, I'm just like, I never heard that before.
Right. I'm like, well, that's not the case. Like, it's not, she hasn't really unpacked that. I think she doesn't fully understand what she even wants, to be honest. I don't get that vibe.
So after all this, Ani picks Matt. LOL.
That was gaggy. I would love that. And I was really proud of Ani, honestly. That was a strategically very smart decision.
And a mini.
Sorry, but Matt's like, really surprised. He's like,
They both look shocked.
with me? And Ani specifically says, I think we need one man protect the family, which is interesting.
And then this cracked me up so much. Like, a mini is looking shell-shocked, angry, like every bad emotion. And Matt cannot read the room. He goes, I think someone asked to marry me.
Oh my God.
And a mini is like, you can see she's like seeing stars. She's like
shocked.
Not even there. She's not and he's like grinning in his little sly fox. He's like, I think I got proposed to.
And Minnie's like, And Matt's like, I never expected this. It's like he won like pageant queen. He's like, oh my God, I got picked. I never thought that this day would come.
A mini says, I think in an interview, that she has wanted the answer to this question for so long, but now that she has an answer, she wishes she didn't. And then meanwhile Matt is like, we got a wedding to plan. Like, they're on two different planets. It's so funny.
Yeah. Interestingly, also in that interview, Minnie says that she's crying, and she says that she's worked twice as hard as Matt in this relationship. And like, I think the implication is she feels like she's the one who deserves to get married with Ani. And I'm like, whoa, this dynamic is like so toxic, like from truly all sides. I'm like, you don't get married because you deserve it, because you like put in enough transaction and now you get the reward. Like, she really views things as transactional.
I know.
Yeah.
Also, it's this thing where it's like, I understand a mini being upset, but I also understand this is a relationship where, let's put aside all my concerns about the relationship. Let's say this is like a truly perfect throuple. Legal frameworks that we have currently are never going to fully encompass what the relationship is. So you kind of have to be able to be like, okay, the legal framework is just a strategic tool we're using, but it doesn't, define our relationship. And I think it's so funny because, like, the truth is, like, in most countries on earth, like, it is easier to be straight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and, like, I
legally.
don't think it's crazy. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy for Ani to be like, probably the smarter decision strategically is for me to marry a man.
Right,
I mean,
even
I'm
just
not
looking at
saying-
legality.
I'm not saying that's what her decision making was, but given that she has to just marry one person, and given that the marriage is therefore not emotionally meaningful because it's just a means to an end for them, like, I also get her being like, yeah, I want the marriage that's gonna be like easier, I don't know, bureaucratically. Like, I have to imagine it might just be easier to have a marriage that people will ask fewer questions about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
And I just think it's funny that Emily like also can't consider that at all.
Sorry. And on top of the legal stuff, I mean, I'm sure you're about to get into this, but I mean, he's fucking crazy.
Well, and we do get into that.
Yes.
Yes. But I just mean, like, it's funny that, like, already, even if it was just a strategic decision, it would make sense. And, like, Emini's like, well, she can't even think like that. It's like,
because she's only thinking emotionally because she's like, well, I mean, in an interview, not in this conversation explicitly to the others, but she said, like, I want to get married again because my wedding with Matt, like the actual wedding, she's like, the wedding sucked. It, like, that we just did it like bureaucratically and for really cheap. And then I also have always wanted to get married to a woman. And like, we've said our piece about like what we think about those statements, but it's like, she's not seeing it as this clearly. She's not seeing it as just a means to an end. It's like, this is an emotional thing.
I also feel like that's, I mean, I've got to move on, but I'm also just like, how are you going to view it as an emotional thing when one of you is excluded from it. Like, it doesn't encapsulate your relationship. I feel like at that point you have to be like, let's just go to the courthouse and get done legally, and then like devise our own non-official ceremony for all three of us, right? Yep. So the fact that they're actually planning like a seemingly like 2-person wedding ceremony.
Are they gonna make a Minnie sit in the crowd?
I don't know. But like Matt's like, I'm engaged. Like, I gotta plan a wedding. Where I'm like, wouldn't you have planned it anyway? Like, anyway, moving on. Okay, so at this point, Minnie says in an interview that she's having trouble with this, quote, shock and punch in the heart. Actually, stab in the heart.
Yeah, okay. Good distinction.
Okay, so they're back at the hotel, and Minnie is, saying that she's so heartbroken in an interview. And then at the hotel, like, Matt and Ani are in the hot tub, and they're, like, giggling together.
Yeah.
And he's like, you chose me.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, Matt, read the room. Like,
He can't read the room. It's crazy. He's very Mark-coded.
And then Minnie, meanwhile, says in an interview that she calls bullshit on Ani's reasons for choosing Matt. Because
she compares it to studying really hard for a final exam and getting a B, wondering what you did wrong. And I'm like, Minnie, you are not built for this.
I know, because Ani asks Minnie, like, are you upset? Because Minnie's like sulking around the hotel.
Yeah. And
then Minnie says she's just trying to make sense of it, because it's like, when you study so hard and get a B. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so like, it's a fine grade? Okay, whatever. Like,
yeah. B's get degrees, first of all. But not marriages, I guess.
And then Ani says that she feels so much love for Minnie, but she feels too much stress about Minnie.
Yep.
And because Minnie wants to be the boss, she has control issues, and Matt treats her like an equal.
These are all really good reasons, honestly.
Completely accurate.
I'm fully agreeing with you. She's very strategic in a way that I really, truly respect. Like, Ani is very smart about this.
I know. I didn't give her enough credit for, like, how strategic she's being here. And Ani thinks that marrying Matt will be easier because he's more rational. And at this point, Minnie asks Matt if he thinks she's controlling, because Ani had, like, said that she's controlling. And then Minnie is so passive aggressive. She's like, I don't know. It must be something bad to be married to me, I guess.
Remember, throwback to, like, a couple hours earlier in the day when she's like, don't worry, I'm not going to take it personally.
I'm not going to be mad. You can do whatever you want. I know. And then Matt says in an interview that he doesn't want to do this if he feels like he'll be divided between the two women.
Well, he has to feel married to both.
It's your vision is not working, you guys. Like, the thing you came up with is imaginary and doesn't exist in the world.
It's funny. It's like not one of them views their current relationship or the future of their relationship when it comes to the legal marriage in the same way. They all view it differently.
It's just imaginary. They all just have their own things going on. And Minnie at this point says she's worried she's going to be kicked out of the picture.
Honestly, I get her with how insane she is and, like, genuinely off-putting and hard to be around. I do see why she's feeling that way, because I don't know, if I were Matt, I would definitely be like, I don't know, this lady Ani is a lot calmer. She's into me, nice. Minnie, you should be scared.
There's this concept in policy. Sorry, I studied public policy called the veil of ignorance. And it's basically this concept that means you should design rules, policies, etc., coming from a place as though you don't know which stakeholder you would be in the situation. So, like, you need to, let's say you're designing a healthcare system. You need to think of, okay, what if I was the poorest possible person? Or what if I was whatever, right? Like, really think through what would be a system where if you were randomly assigned a role, you would be happy with the system. And it's coming up for me because I feel like Minnie did this, like, fake veil of ignorance thing of being like, I wouldn't care, but she only thought through the option of being picked. And she's like, yeah, if I was picked, then I would be happy, you know, and like just pretending she'd be fine with the other outcome, but she hasn't thought it through at all. And it's just so funny to me that now she's like, wait, there's going to be a setup where I'm legally single. I, like, have no legal attachment to these people. Like, she didn't think through it at all. That's the base of what it means to get a divorce and then remarry. One of you remarry is that
it's a super vulnerable position to be in.
One of you is going to be single.
Yeah.
And it's just funny. Like, it's 50-50 if you're going to be the one who's single. And to, like, not have even considered it is crazy.
I know. And on top of everything, she's been the one terrorizing everyone the whole time. And it's like, you really didn't think that this would make Ani want to pick Matt? Seriously?
I know.
It's crazy the way that she can't predict outcomes from behaviors.
But she's consistently done this thing where she's like, I'd be happy with whatever as long as it's the outcome that I want. And you're like, okay, yeah, I guess.
I think she's the kind of person who is very used to getting exactly what she wants, because I think that, I mean, I don't feel swayed or charmed by her, but I think that I can imagine her being someone who goes through the world being charming. And she's physically attractive in a conventional way. She's still young, you know, she like fits these standards, and she's charismatic. I definitely see her getting someone who gets her way most of the time. And I think that Matt is also a partner who is easily swayed by her and intimidated by her into doing things. So I think that she's so used to just being enabled in her life that she has also learned that it's polite and correct to say things like, I won't judge no matter what, blah, blah, blah. But she doesn't actually fundamentally believe that she wouldn't get exactly what she wants. So her consistently getting not what she wants when it comes from Ani is really throwing her for a loop, because she can't bully her into it.
One thing that I actually am wondering, in Persian culture, there's a concept called taruf, which is like, it's this kind of social norm, let's say, where you basically offer things you don't actually want to give. And you also turn down offers that you actually would like to accept because people are offering things that they don't mean. Like, people have to offer something 3 times for it to be a real offer.
Okay.
So if I'm drinking this coffee and you're like, I love that mug, I'd be like, do you want it?
Ah.
But I don't mean that. And I'll mean it if I insist, like, multiple times, like, please, you've got to take it. Then you can be like, okay, fine. But because of that, you should know, if I offer something once, you can never accept. And and it's always like funny when people who are doing that come up against, like, let's say like a German who's like, oh, I'd love that, thank you.
Yeah.
And then it's like considered really rude.
Right.
But they didn't know. I mean, they didn't know the secret rule. And so part of me, it feels like that vibe from her a little, where she's like, oh, it's totally fine. Like, feel free. And then it's like, oh, I can't believe I actually did that. Like, I almost wonder if there's a cultural element there.
Because she's from Tunisia.
And I don't know if they have a similar thing, but she's on multiple occasions, like, offered things she doesn't want to actually happen. You know what I mean? And then she's like, I can't believe they did that.
That is really interesting. I wonder if Tunisia has that.
I just wonder, like, not that it would really be an excuse, because it's like, you can't be doing that for, like, huge life events. It's really more like, do you want this mug? Not, do you want to marry me?
I am hearing you. That's an interesting idea. And I believe we end on an interview with Hamini crying, saying, why not me? Like, because you're crazy. You're a crazy person who's annoying and hard to be around. And she'll never know. She'll never know.
I know.
Because I feel like she's the type of person, even if she watched this back, she'd be like, yeah, I was literally right.
I did everything right. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah,
I agree. So now we are back on Long Island with Greg and Joan. And if you recall, in the last episode, there was this big drama because Greg realized that he told the guests to arrive at 6:30 and the ceremony is starting at 6:30. So Lucille is, like, frantically calling all the guests to postpone their arrival. And Greg is literally just sitting there criticizing his mom for yapping too much on each call. And I'm like, Greg, why don't you pick up the phone yourself? Like,
See me off.
Meanwhile, Joan is at the salon getting her hair done. She looks truly beautiful.
Stunning. Gorgeous.
And it's revealed that Joan is going to have one bridesmaid, who is Greg's friend, Laura, who also organized the bachelorette party. And it actually seems sweet. Like, it seems like the two of them actually have a sweet relationship.
Yeah.
It's nice when you can become actually friends with your partner's friends, like, also without them there, you know?
Absolutely. Joan says, Laura is my girl, which is really cute.
It's so sweet. I love their relationship. And then we have Lucille. We have an interview with her, and she says, my youngest is getting married today. And I'm like, let's meet the siblings.
What the freak, dude? I need to meet Greg's siblings. This is fucked up. This whole time he was giving such a only child energy to me. I'm shocked. But him being the youngest also makes sense.
I know. Youngest does track. But when we met the stepmom in the strip club car, I'm like, I want to meet them.
Yeah. At about 5:15 p.m., Joan has her dress on and she's getting ready with Laura, the friend, and the vibe is just really good. They seem both so happy. And in an interview, Joan says that she feels beautiful in her dress, and she does look gorgeous. And she says that this is a dream come true. They've been dating for 4 years. The K1 90-day visa took 2 years, which I was like, wow, that's a long time. And she just can't wait to walk down the aisle, which I just thought was really sweet.
It is really sweet. So this is just a total side note, but at some point there are like the on screen you see different pictures of Greg and Joan throughout their relationship. Mm-hmm. Did you see that Greg used to have long hair?
No. I actually missed this montage completely.
I literally wrote down the timestamp because I'm gonna get the visual for you because
Perfect. I can't imagine. He barely has any hair left.
I know. Learning that a man used to have long hair is like genuinely critical information. Like you need to know to understand this person's lived experience.
It really does change everything.
So at this point, Greg is at the venue. It's 6 p.m. and he says he hopes people will show up early. Mm-hmm. Next segment, we're still at the venue with Greg and he says the most amazing quote. He says, "I never thought planning a wedding would be this stressful."
Okay, Greg, don't aggravate me. But of course he didn't think that. He's the one who said that they were going to do it at their house and he was going to cook all the food.
And cook. He was going to cook at his own wedding. I know. So, okay, again, I know I'm like always criticizing the producers, but like people are showing up. It's great. People are coming on time. Yay. This seemingly random guy comes up to Greg and is like, "Make sure your vows are accessible on your phone." And then like we later find out that's the guy who's officiating the wedding. But on screen it just says Greg's friend.
What?
So you're like, why would your... Also, why is that relevant? I thought, maybe he forgot his phone. No, he didn't. So like... but meanwhile, Greg is like so happy and emotional waiting for Joan. Mm-hmm. It's actually really sweet. And then, again, another character I want to meet. Greg's dad is there and he's actually walking Joan down the aisle. I respect people's privacy, but I'm also like, if you're going to be on the show at all, like I would just love to meet you beforehand.
You don't have to do an interview, but we could just get a little thing from Greg. "Oh yeah, my dad is alive and he'll be walking Joan down the aisle."
I know. But thankfully, everybody comes early.
Yay.
Seems like a total non-issue.
Yay.
Hooray.
It's such a fake, like, storyline.
I know. And like, I love when like a groom is like kind of crying and like he's like so emotional waiting for Joan to walk down the aisle with his dad. So that was really, really sweet. Then we find out that the friend Dan is actually officiating.
Trigger warning, friend Dan. It's not French
not
Dan.
Not the same Dan.
It's Italian Dan, not French Dan. Greg in an interview says that Joan looks like a star in the night sky. That was so cute. I love love.
I do love their love. Like, even though I have issues with some of the logistics, I do love their love.
Yeah, it's genuinely sweet.
The vows were very sweet. They were like, they were thoughtful.
When Joan comes down the aisle, like, and she comes and they're like, together in front of the officiant. And Greg asks if he can just kiss Joan now and says that she looks great, which is very sweet.
Oh, sweet. No, it was a very sweet ceremony.
Yeah. And Greg does his vows and Joan does hers. And she says that Greg is the one person she knows who will do anything to put a smile on her face. And she cries. I think they were both crying through the ceremony.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was really emotional. It was genuinely lovely.
Yeah. And then they are pronounced husband and wife. Mwah.
That's them kissing.
Mwah. Italian kiss. Mwah.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia, they are married. I can say that I'm like 4% Italian.
Then we cut to the reception where Greg is doing some sort of dance performance that does involve him unclipping his suspenders.
Yeah, and like getting on his knees, crawling toward her at one point, I think. I thought there was going to be a garter situation. I got scared. I don't like that.
I know. It had the energy that there would be a garter toss.
Mm-hmm. But I did love the little striptease by him. I thought that was fun.
It was funny. He is the stripper with the schlong he keeps talking about.
Ow! Ew! Sophie! Ew! I don't know why that really, really scared me. Why did you say that? Ew!
The spirit of Greg came...
It did, but...
into me.
The concept of... Ah! I've never thought about Greg's schlong. Ah!
Anyway. So at this point, we have an interview with Lucille, who's like basically just saying she's happy someone else can take care of him now. This cracks me up so much because like the normal patriarchal bullshit is like a father saying to his daughter's husband, like, someone else is gonna take care of my little girl. I don't know why it's so funny for like the roles to be reversed, but it kind of cracks me up that like Lucille's like, finally my 37, well, how old is he, 35? Someone else can take care of my 35-year-old grown son.
I'm like, I'd hope him. I'm sorry, that's just like classic Mediterranean boy mom though. Like,
I know.
Yeah. Yikes.
And then Greg at this point says everything he's sacrificed is worth it. And I am wondering at this point what he actually did sacrifice.
I thought the same thing. I think money and time to go all. I mean, Uganda's far. I mean, but it is. People love to say sacrifice, and I'm like, I guess objectively, like in any, especially long distance international relationship, sure. Like I think you can't have one and not sacrifice something, even if it's like time and money, right? Mm-hmm. But I've never thought about my relationship and been like, I sacrificed so much. Like I've never thought of it in that way.
Especially like you're in this situation, like you're an American living in America with your non-American partner. Mm-hmm. I think it's so funny as the American who like hasn't had to change your lifestyle to be like, I sacrificed a lot. And it's like,
not really.
Not really.
Like I sometimes will like, and my husband never says stuff like this, but like I'll thank him. I'll be like, thank you for like, I know like you gave up a lot to be here with me. Like I'm so grateful, like I do say that to him pretty frequently. I just think it's weird to say about yourself as the American. Like it's okay to recognize that someone is doing that for you. It's funny to say it about yourself.
I agree. And that was the end of that. It was a nice, happy wedding.
Yeah.
Drama-free.
My one critique, and I don't know if this was that producers didn't capture it, didn't put it in, or that it didn't happen, but I was really hoping to see Lucille throw down on the dance floor.
You know what? The 1 hour dance that was planned for Alliya at her wedding should have been transferred to Lucille.
Agreed. We need more time with Lucille. I already miss her, honestly.
I know.
My angel.
We have to put an air tag on her.
Sorry, do you think she has cameo? When's your birthday?
July 2nd. You have time. You have time because she's booked and busy, I'm sure. So you got to put in the order right now.
The way I'm finding her Instagram and social media with a speediness as soon as we finish the reunion.
Next couple.
Ooh.
Mark and Mina. Downer.
Why have they become like low-key my favorite couple? Oh, I'm not feeling that from you.
No, because it upsets me like on a deep level that like Mark has been not fucking up, and I'm like, Mark, where was this energy at the beginning? Like
literally. I thought he was a full doofus. I think it's that for the first time, unfortunately, there still is strife, but the strife and conflict is not coming from Mark fucking up and not protecting Mina. It's like something that's out of their control, and like it's almost like, I mean, it's horrible, but it's like they can almost bond together through going through it.
Well, you know what's coming up for me? There's like a little thing they say for couples. It's like, it shouldn't be me versus you. It should be us versus the problem.
Yes.
So maybe the reason they're capable of being in a better place is because the problem actually exists outside of their relationship. Because at the beginning, how are you going to be us versus the problem when the problem is that Mark didn't buy a high chair or diapers?
Right. It's just Mark being an idiot.
Like, you can't be like, no diapers exist, and there's no way to know why. Like, he did it, so it's like, it has to some degree be like me versus you.
You're right.
But it's interesting to see when there is a problem that exists like beyond the relationship.
Yes. I think because that's more recognizable in like a healthy relationship.
It is interesting to see how they handle like just the things life throws at you. They seem better equipped with that. I'm still not agreeing with the one commenter who said he's like the best guy ever, but
no, that was literally Mark's mom, I think.
Gotta be. So just a reminder, we're still at the wedding venue for like the walkthrough, and Mina just found out on the phone that Clayton, her son, is not going to be able to come to the wedding. So Mark finally goes out to console Mina, and Mina, this made me so sad. She said Clayton is never going to believe her again because she had promised he would be there for the wedding.
I hate this.
This plot line is like, it makes me so sad. And it's because I know it's real too. It's not just some bullshit they came up with.
No. And it happens to people every day.
I know. And Mark proposes like, yeah, still having the wedding, but live streaming it to Clayton and having him like on an iPad on a chair, which like obviously is less than ideal, but also like, seriously, what else are you going to do? I mean.
And I love the problem solving from Mark.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yes, that's actually a good idea.
And Mina says that she will still marry Mark, and she doesn't have any doubts about the relationship itself, but she just wonders if Clayton will view her as selfish for having like taken this opportunity and like, chosen a man over him. That's her concern, which I do think shows that she's a good mom and she's aware of that, because I do think that's always like an issue with like remarrying or whatever, that like if your kid feels like you're abandoning them or something. So
totally.
I appreciate her for considering that, and I do think it's a situation where like maybe Clayton will just be upset for a while, but like when he's older, he'll understand once he understands that like bureaucracy as this like crazy thing.
Yeah. I also think, honestly, Mina already, what's the word, like anticipating those thoughts and feelings from Clayton. It shows that it's a lot less likely that that will end up being a resentment that Clayton feels, because it's like she's already predicting it and she's like wanting to get ahead of it. And just like that awareness that she has, like, I don't think that he's going to hold it against her. She seems like a really caring person and mother.
I agree. So next segment, they're back in Soaring Heights. And okay, there's all this American flag decor, but it's like not made clear if it's like the 4th of July.
It must be, but I was like, it's so funny because we also had a weird 4th of July thing with Shawn and Alliya in the last episode, and I'm like, okay, I think that these are being filmed at like the same time, but it is funny to call it out there when it was so random and not here when they seemingly are actually having like a 4th of July party.
It's just random, I know.
Yeah.
This is literally the vibe that Jessica and Juan's wedding is going to have for the Colombian.
Oh my God.
We're like, why is the Colombian flag all over?
Fuck, that's so funny.
So Mina at this point has not yet called Clayton to tell him that he can't come for the wedding. And both Mark and Mina's sister Alex convince her she needs to just rip off the Band-Aid and call him now.
Yeah.
So they FaceTime. Clayton is literally the cutest cutie. He's so adorable.
I know. Wanted to read him a story time book.
And they're FaceTiming in English, and she asks him what he's doing, and he's like, I'm chilling. Like chilling, but in this little French accent that's so cute.
So cute. I don't know why they forced them to do this all in English, by the way. Fucking weird.
I know. And she tells him that he can't come, and he's obviously so sad.
He says, oh no, why?
Oh, no.
Like, why?
He says, I just want to go USA.
Oh, my heart actually hurts thinking about it.
And he starts crying, and he has these like big tears. And he says, do you miss me? And I was like, turn it off. Turn it off. I can't. It's so heartbreaking.
I know. And obviously she's sobbing immediately. Like, she can't.
If Clayton isn't at the reunion, I'm going to lose my mind.
And Clayton says he just wants to hug Mina and see Maria and Daddy. He calls Mark Daddy. I actually just got full body chills. Oh my God.
I know. It's so heartbreaking. And again, in an interview, Mina reiterates that she's just worried Clayton's going to hate her. It's just sad. It's just a downer.
It just sucks. It just sucks so fucking bad. Like,
sucks.
This poor little baby. I know. It was boo, bureaucracy, boo, 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 boo.
I'm Googling how to sponsor Clayton's visa.
I'm like, I'll bring him over. Don't worry.
That's fine. I'll take care of it.
Anyway, it sucks. It's horrible. Clearly, they're going to get married in the next episode, which I look forward to seeing, honestly. The venue does look gorgeous. And I hope that Mina is able to have a lovely wedding day. And yeah, I don't know. It sucks. So, Shawn and Alliya, boy, oh boy, is this interesting. We are back in the shit on this nightmare wedding day. As a reminder, we ended with the last episode with Alliya taking fucking forever, pulling a Mina, and it's like 2 or 2.5 hours past the original start time for the ceremony, and she still hasn't come out, which is literally crazy. And then Shawn, like in that last episode, he stormed off, and we didn't know where he was going. I predicted completely accurately what was about to happen. I hate to say.
But they made it seem like he was just like abandoning the wedding altogether.
Yes. So just like to pat myself on the back. I did predict it accurately, and I'm not really winning here because it sucks. But so basically what happens is Jackie and Alliya are still in the getting ready area, and finally Alliya is done. Only 2 hours late. And Jackie seems like she's in a good mood, and she says, let's get married. Like, I don't get her either in this whole thing. Like, she's so like, woohoo, lady, we're getting married. And I'm like, I would be like having a panic attack.
I think she's just kind of like people pleaser vibes. Like, she's just kind of like there, and it's just like, okay, you're the bride. Okay. Like, but that's not helpful. Like, I feel like you really need someone who's like, okay, we're running super late. Let's wrap it up.
Come on. Like, I'd be pissed at Alliya if I were her. And as she and Alliya walk out, kind of, they're on the second floor. We now see, we were confused about this last episode, but we see that they are, in fact, at the wedding venue getting ready, just at like a separate building. And she and Alliya walk out of the building onto this like second floor balcony that then has steps to go down to the ground floor, just for context of like the visual here. And at the same time, we cut to cameras following Shawn outside, who has walked from the ceremony area to the building where Alliya is getting ready. And we see Alliya and Jackie coming out, which we saw on their section, to the second floor balcony. And Shawn is walking up to them at the exact same time.
This was a really hard watch.
This whole situation is the worst thing I've seen this season, just like for my personal stress levels. I was like getting really lightheaded watching it. Shawn says angrily to them, "Not having it. I've been waiting to go for an hour and 45 minutes. And Jackie, in this kind of whiny, weirdly like fawning voice, she says, "You're not supposed to see her. Aw, you look amazing." She literally says,
I know. She's like trying to diffuse in this way that it's just like, just shut your mouth. Like the best thing you could do right now is pretend to have forgotten something inside and just like not like don't get involved.
Don't get involved. But like I can feel her wanting to protect Alliya, and I'm like, Jackie, it's their relationship. Again, people getting too involved. And Shawn says, "That's great. You can see me in the car driving off in it."
You didn't even say it bitchy enough because she says, "Oh, like I love your outfit, by the way. That's great. You can see me in the car driving off in it later." Like he was not happy at all. He was really mean.
Yes. And then we get a shot here of Aliyah's wedding dress. And I'm sorry, it's awful. We already talked about it last time, but she looks insane. The two of them, Shawn and Alliya, they look not Napa Valley. They don't look Sonoma vibes. They look Vegas vibes.
Even something more sinister and worse than Vegas. I feel if they wore these outfits in Vegas, the people in Vegas would go, "God, those people look cheap."
Agreed. Okay, now continuing this interaction, Shawn says to Alliya,
"Not happy. So I say we walk in the thing, say I do really quick, and then go have food and throw everybody out."
And then Alliya just says, "Okay."
Awkward.
Basically, just the vibe is like so bad. Like he's so mad at her, and Jackie looks super stressed too. And it's just like a bad vibe all around. And Shawn in an interview says, "I don't know if culturally people in Brazil show up whenever they want to a wedding. But when I first put my eyes on her and see her at the top of the stairs, I am so mad at them and so angry." It's just so interesting to me because I'm like, you don't know what your soon-to-be wife's cultural relationship with time is, even after the fact in this interview. What a fucking idiot. This guy doesn't give a shit about Alliya or where she comes from.
It's also a funny framing. Instead of just being like, "I hate that she was late," to be like, "I don't know if it's her culture." And it's like, you certainly have had time to talk about that and like figure it out.
Yeah.
But in general, like in that interview, he just basically says like his first impression of seeing her was just anger.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing to feel about seeing your bride.
I know. Just, oh God, it's just so wrong. It's just so deeply wrong. Like, this is not how a wedding day is supposed to go. And I'm so curious your feeling about all this, but I think Alliya ruined the wedding day.
I agree. Because the thing with people being late, there's a grace period where it's like totally fine. 15 minutes late, who cares? Then there's a period where it's like people are losing steam, but you can recover. And she's like fully in the red, dark red. Like at that point,
You've lost him.
You've totally lost me. Like I don't understand the explanation for this aside from simply poor planning on her part, because she was told multiple times, "Hey, don't be late."
Right. That's the thing that kills me is it's not like maybe what happened with Mark and Mina at the baptism, which is that Mark's family was really upset because from their perspective, Mina was super late to the baptism, but they were in Mina's cultural context. And I think that was like more Mark not knowing Mina well enough. And like, I think that her culture just has a different relationship with time. To her, I don't think she was late. In this situation, it's like they're in the US and like in this cultural part of the US where like you have to be on time.
And multiple people told her, "Do not be late."
And that's the key to me is like it has been communicated to her explicitly that this is not acceptable.
Well, this is just the thing, I think, where her immaturity comes through again. Like, as we talked about this, like, well, I'm the bride, so I'm sure they'll all just wait for me. And it's like, no, these old people are literally all getting, like, their feet are swelling in the heat.
Yeah.
Like,
it's 104, guys. It's 104 degrees that day. We can't forget that. That's insane.
And I also just, like, can't think of any beauty thing you could do to yourself that would make you be 2 hours late unless you started literally getting ready after the ceremony started. Like,
Yeah.
just be quicker.
Think about it. She started getting ready at noon. It's almost 8 p.m.
How to take her 8 hours? I mean, I don't understand. And on top of that, it's also this thing of it's like this really myopic thing of going, well, at my dream wedding, I would look XYZ. Well, at my dream wedding, all my guests wouldn't hate me.
Right. You have the wrong priority here, which shows that, to your point, immaturity. not understanding like what the point of a wedding really is. And if your dream wedding has you looking a certain way, you needed to be waking up earlier, starting earlier, and paying people to help you get ready. So it's just unacceptable to me. And I mean, I literally never want to side with Shawn. So it's not really me. Like, I do agree with his individual points of like, this is unacceptable being this late. What I don't agree with is being in this situation in the first place. Because yes, on the wedding day, I believe fully that Alliya is the one at fault. I think she ruined the wedding day by being this late. She simply did. She ruined it for everyone, including herself at the end of the day. And it's a real shame. It's something so regrettable. It's avoidable as well, which is the frustrating part. That said, why are they getting married in the first place? It's because freaky old dude Shawn is preying upon this super young person. And so in that sense, he also ruined his wedding. Because why are you getting married to someone with such a different life experience and understanding of the world and expectations for things and maturity level? So both of them are to blame, essentially. You know, on the day of, yes, Alliya fucked it up. But big picture wise, marriage wise, Shawn is the one I think more to blame because he's the one with the power. They shouldn't have been in this situation in the first place.
Totally. Also, her being so like immature about it is just a further reminder of the gap between the two of them.
Yes.
Like, he's been married before. I mean, I don't think he's the most mature person ever, but he at least knows and understands what marriage is. Mm-hmm. And I feel like she is one of these people who is like, when she thinks about marriage, she's just like, this is the dress I'm going to wear. And isn't like, it's so stressful. And I never want to hate Alliya, but I was like, Alliya, you're making it hard for me to just like always defend you.
Yeah. And I'd say I feel that it's a loving thing to like boop someone on the nose when they did something bad, because it's like the least loving thing you can do is like give up on someone and think that they wouldn't even be able to change and get better. Like, I really do like Alliya. I think she totally fucked up in this situation. She was behaving terribly.
I agree. I have to say something I have to speak on if you're done with the analysis.
I'd say so. There's more stuff to go through, but please say your piece.
The woman in the Walmart leggings was the wedding officiant.
No, I didn't even. God damn it. I need to start looking at people's clothes more. That was the officiant?
That was the officiant.
Oh,
Sparkle t-shirt, kind of see-through leggings, and sneakers.
Oh, okay. Why? That's tough stuff.
That really does speak to something.
Interesting wedding. So now, back in the moment, Shawn leaves Alliya and Jackie because the two of them had to take a golf cart, I think because of Alliya's shoes. And Shawn storms back to the ceremony area. I just want to emphasize, he is in a rage. He is beyond angry.
Yeah.
And for the first time ever, I understand Shawn and how he's feeling. I actually get his anger in this moment. That said, I would be curious your opinion on this. And like, I'm open to there being like nuance here. It's okay if this is not just black and white, but I don't think you should, controversial opinion, I don't think you should feel this way on your wedding day. I don't know if you should go through with getting married if you're put in this position. What do you think about that?
Well, you know, I don't think they should get married.
Well,
so
right.
I'm always happy to jump on the train of that.
This shouldn't be happening.
But it is interesting. Like, okay, sorry, let me back up. I think anger is a really like misunderstood emotion. Like, I don't think anger is inherently bad. I think when like something makes you angry, like it's fine to experience anger. But I will say his level of anger was a bit scary to me. He was like in a rage. Like, I felt like he was the type of anger where you go punch a wall. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like, yeah.
I didn't love that. I completely understood the emotion behind it, but it felt like this was the tipping point for him. Like, I feel like if this had been the first time she was ever late to something, he might have been more like concerned or, you know, the fact that this was like the straw that broke the camel's back that like threw him into a literal rage. I was like, you can't be getting married. Like this, I don't want to criticize him for his anger because I understand the emotion. The level of anger scared me. The fact that their relationship is one that has bred such anger.
Yes.
Over time. Because this was not an anger that you develop in one singular day.
Yeah.
Or over the course of 2 hours. I mean, this was like anger that's been building up in him. And I don't want to be too dramatic, but it makes me scared. Like, I don't think that's a good thing to have in a relationship. I'm not implying he would like hurt Alliya or something, but that level of anger, it's getting to that point where it's like this like, uncontrollable. I found that scary. I also understood it, but it just reinforces, like, why are you in a relationship that is triggering these super negative emotions in you when you're not even into the person?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Truly, what's the fucking point?
I also don't and we can get into this maybe a bit later, or like not even that in depth, but like I'm really curious how much of this was producer interference. Why did he not go storm over there earlier when it was only an hour? You know, you can't tell me that he didn't want to, or he didn't, you know, I wonder.
That's a good question. Yeah, like they kind of stoked the fire a bit by being like, no, you should wait.
Also, why did Alliya seemingly have no idea what time it was ever? You know, why was she having to ask people? And like who took her phone, who took her watch? Why does she not know what time it is ever? And also the fact that when Shawn storms over and is literally walking up to the house is the exact same moment that Alliya is coming out. It's super suspicious to me.
You're so right. I didn't even think about that, but you're so right.
I am super upset with Alliya. At the same time, there's a lot of circumstances that make me really suspicious of the producers.
I agree, 100%. Granted, the existing anger that existed within Shawn was already there, but it was really irresponsible of the producers to like stoke it to this point. I don't know. It was a type of anger where I was like,
yeah, no, it was scary. I agree. I think all of the criticisms that we have for Alliya still stand when it comes to this time management, because it's like we did see her asking Jackie for the time. Jackie saying, you don't have the time that you think you're saying you need to get ready faster. We also saw her doing her wig the day of. Like, shit, she could have done better.
We also saw her saying, I'm the bride, they'll wait for me.
Exactly. So everything we said still stands. That said, I think on top of that, there was producer shit going on.
I agree.
As I was saying, Shawn storms back to the ceremony area, and he gets his friend Angela, who I guess is the rhinestone leggings lady.
Legging officiant.
Mm-hmm. And he tells her just to do the end of the ceremony. Like, literally, he says, whatever you legally have to do, basically, to get it to work.
It's just the I do part.
Dead ass. Crazy. No vows, no nothing. And Alliya and Jackie simultaneously get on a golf cart, and Alliya asks what time it is, actually. Great question. And Jackie says,
hey, speaking of which.
Hey, what time? Well, he seemed pretty mad. And Jackie says 6:50, quote, so we are in trouble. And they just are acting like middle schoolers or something, like late to a dance.
It's funny because Jackie also says Shawn coming over felt like an angry dad. So they are like infantilizing themselves. It's odd.
It's really odd. And it's really odd of Jackie because I don't remember her age, but like,
she's an adult.
Both of them are coming across as super immature. And Alliya arrives at the ceremony area, and just the vibe is so off from Shawn. Like, Shawn is radiating anger. He is not happy to see her when she arrives. She walks down the aisle, and also their dog Maxwell is just kind of like loose running around. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this ceremony is so sloppy. And Shawn in an interview says, here's the big moment, but I have no ability to switch on and off. So once I'm off, I'm off. So I'm just in this trance just to get through the ceremony. And I don't like Shawn at all. I don't think they should be getting married, but that's sad to me. Like, you shouldn't feel that way during your wedding ceremony. We
shouldn't be in an angry trance at our wedding.
No. Like, this is just wrong. It's just not how you should be feeling. And Alliya, gets to the officiant, and Angela asks if Alliya takes Shawn to be, quote, the love of your life. And she says, I do. Like, we just immediately go to that. It's so crazy.
Also, there's something so funny to me about the, like, super express vows. Officiant in leggings, and the whole time Aliyah's wearing a see-through dress with a thong.
Looks insane. And Shawn's outfit is bizarre too. It's this like ugly black business casual suit with rhinestones on it. It's just, we love individuality. We love a creative thing. When I saw rhinestones, I thought like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get like a real fun like alternative wedding with like people going like full showgirl. But no, it's just, I hate that it's so sloppy and uneven. It just shows like a lack of care from the guests and the people getting married. And Shawn and Alliya exchange rings. They were tied around Maxwell's collar, and I thought that was cute.
That is cute.
Yeah.
At this point, I was like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean that wedding actually happened?
I know. I could not believe they actually got married. I really did not think it was going to happen. And the guests do look on like fondly. God bless them. I would be pissed if I were them. And Shawn and Alliya are pronounced husband and wife. And Shawn, as he's leaning in for the kiss, says, longest ceremony ever. Ew. I mean, like, what's there to say? And they walk out. And one guest can be heard saying, and guys, producers put subtitles on this, so they wanted people to see it. One guest says, "Was that a whole 3 sentences?" And another says, "Yeah, well, welcome to citizenship."
I know. That really got me.
It was interesting. And Sophie, as you said last week, there are ops on the guest list.
These people hate her. I mean, they hate them. I mean, it's like...
They hate Shawn, I think, too.
They hate Shawn, yeah.
But now they probably hate her because they're like, she's so inconsiderate. Yeah, I would really regret being at this wedding. So the camera follows Shawn and Alliya as they walk away together with Maxwell away from the ceremony area. And they are not talking to each other. It is stone cold silence. And a producer asks, in the moment, like holding the camera, they're like, "How are you feeling?" And Alliya unconvincingly says, "Wonderful."
Wonderful.
Wonderful. And Shawn and Alliya arrive in the dining room, you know, where the guests will have the reception. And it's beautiful, I do have to say. The venue's gorge. And it's super tense. They're like not talking until Alliya asks if they're waiting for people. And Shawn says, "I guess." That's it. That's all they say.
Wonderful vibe.
Yeah, really romantic and sweet. And Alliya in an interview says the ceremony was fast, which was surprising to her. Why was it surprising?
I know.
Why was it? Like, this is where Alliya, and not like character ending stuff, like I don't hate her for this, but I do not understand when she's surprised by stuff, or like when things aren't clicking for her, when she can't get practical almost, or like strategic.
Like, what I also kind of don't understand is, like, let's say the producers did, like, you know, I know on, like, The Bachelor, they'll, like, take away all of your access to the outside world and you don't know what time it is. And, like, I get that that can be really disorienting. But I still don't understand how it possibly took her literally almost 8 hours to get ready. Even with the producers doing that, like, do you have no internal clock? It's, like, dark outside. You know what I mean? Like, there's no indicators.
No, Jackie also had a clock. And she kept asking Jackie, or she asked her, like, "What time is it? Oh, I need this much time." And Jackie's like, "You don't have that time." So, no, like, yeah. Even if the producers were doing fuck shit, Alliya was doing fuck shit, too.
Yeah, I agree.
So, in the moment, guests arrive in the dining room and everyone's seated. And Shawn and Alliya are sat next to each other at the table. A guest leads a toast and says, "Congratulations," you know, to Shawn and Alliya. And Shawn and Alliya are, like, stone-faced as they clink their glasses with everyone. This is, like,
such bad vibes.
Really awkward. And Alliya says to Jackie, who's sitting on her other side of the table, that she thinks they shouldn't do the dance moment anymore.
The 1 hour long dance. I agree.
I'm like, Alliya, yes, now it's clicking for you. I think people are about to go home. I don't know if there's going to be any dancing. Like, the vibe is so strange. And Jackie's like, "Yeah, probably." So Alliya in an interview says that even in bad moments, she does her best to make it better. And she's trying to make the best of this situation. But she just wishes Shawn feels happy and proud of this big moment of their story.
Well, he doesn't.
He just doesn't. Because he doesn't like you. And I don't say that with any glee. Like, get out. He doesn't like you.
I know.
It makes me mad. And a guest leads another toast to the couple. Shawn thanks everyone for coming. And he stays seated as he says, "I'm not going to stand up and do a big speech, but thanks for coming." And then, quote, "Alliya, thanks for coming too. Finally coming. When you got around to it, cheers."
The most rancid vibe you could imagine.
And another guest says, "Oh my God, redo." Like about his toast. And Shawn says, "No redo. It's how I feel." Yikes, 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 yikes. I don't actually wish this upon anyone I know, but it would be fascinating to attend a wedding like this one day, where like just clearly they hate each other.
We need to get a job as like wedding caterers.
Yes.
We need to be in the rooms where these things might be happening.
Pouring the wine and listening to the tea. I'd love it. We end this segment with Shawn in an interview saying he needed Alliya to step outside of herself and realize what was going on with him. Well, Shawn, to be honest, you've been asking her to only do that this whole time. You've never once considered how Alliya feels about anything. So shut up. That said, she did fuck up this specific moment, but it's like his assessment of the situation is incorrect.
I agree.
And he says he's now second-guessing himself and Alliya, wondering if she can't give him what he needs because she's dealing with her own, quote, issues. And you know he just means, like, being transgender. So that's awesome.
Cool, break up.
Yeah. Leave her then. Let her be released from your evil machinations. And he says that maybe it's not meant to be a forever thing. Maybe he can't be in this relationship. Okay, then don't. Whatever. I can't deal with, like, the cognitive dissonance between how he feels and what he does. It's, like, so aggravating.
I know. It's also, like, Obviously, Alliya being so late to the wedding was like terrible, and I get that. But it's not like this was a couple that had like a great outlook before.
Well, right. It's just the cherry on top of like these people are not compatible and shouldn't be together. And yet they seemingly got married. I'm so curious because in my head, and I'm very confident that I'm wrong, given some just like vibes I picked up on. But in my head, I'm like, well, okay, maybe they just went through for appearance's sake with like the physical wedding, but they won't sign it, you know? Like the actual document.
I think the document is signed, I fear.
The way that throughout the season we kept being like, well, he's treating her badly now, but luckily we know that she has this super empowering moment where she leaves him at the altar. And the way that's not even true is horrible.
They got us. They got us.
Fuck you, TLC. Honestly, fuck you guys. I will be watching every show you've ever made, but fuck you.
God damn it. They really got us. I thought we were better than that.
My dream is that by the reunion, they're not together.
They better not be.
Or like, whatever. You know what? If they got married, I want Alliya to stick it out as long as she legally has to keep her green card and then leave that dude.
The fact that the one like bright shining light was like, we invented this whole fucking fan fiction where we're like, Alliya, she says, you know what, Shawn, if you can't accept me for who I truly am, and then that's like, could not be further from the truth.
We need to stop thinking that people on this show care about anything that makes sense to us. Even our beloved Alliya.
I know.
Oh, Alliya, you've let us down now, huh? Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us yet again for episode 17 of My Best View.
And I'm so excited that next week is the finale.
I know. Release us!
I know. We're still going to do an episode for the reunion, which is after. But, I mean, next week is going to be the finale of the produced, storylines.
Yes.
So I can't believe we made it this far. I'm excited and dreading what is to come next week.
I know. There is a chance, everyone, that there might be a delay between the finale episode and the reunion episode of the pod, simply because I, unfortunately for the pod, but fortunately for me, am going on a vacation. If I'm really dedicated, we might film there, but we'll have to see.
You're going to be snorkeling, and you're going to have the potting equipment on like a little floaty.
Period. What about it? We'll see, but we will get that out to you as soon as possible. And I am genuinely really excited to see how this all pans out.
Me too. And it's funny, I almost don't care about the finale. I feel like I just care about the reunion at this point.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, okay, they're all going to get married. It's going to be a dumb wedding montage. They're going to drum up some stupid one episode drama arc. And then like, I'm thinking longer term. I want to know what happens after. So
that said, thank you all for listening yet again. Please follow us on social media at My Best View Pod. Please subscribe to us wherever you are listening to our podcast right now at this very moment. Leave us a 5-star review and interact with us on social media.
I love you all. I did a little heart for the video watchers.
The YouTube listeners.
And see you for the finale next week. Yay!
Woo! See you then.